welcome to the first historic auction of 2023. We are here at the London Classic Car Show at Olympia.
In its 9th year,
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many cars to see, so many exhibitors. We've got special celebrations for Mini, for Corvette and for Porsche.
And of course, we have over 100 cars here at Historic's auction. Perhaps we should go and have a quick look.
Defo.
Right.
This is a car that barely needs any introduction. It is Aston Martin's DB5, a car that has appeared in more Bond movies than a leading actor. This car doesn't have Bond's gadgets though, but it does have a few creature comforts, power assisted steering, a DAB radio, and of course those wonderful wheels. It could be yours for under £600,000 here at the auction, or perhaps you fancy something from Germany, this 993 911 perhaps, or a bright yellow Maserati Ghibli. Under the bonnet is a V8 engine, and this is one of 13 right-hand drive models. It could be yours for under £200,000. Sliding between these two, we have got a BMW, so perhaps something from Germany might float your boat. This is Alpina's take on BMW 7 Series. It's a B12. Under the bonnet is a 5.7 litre V12 engine, and just like buses, we have not one, not two, but 3 B12s here at the auction this weekend. How lucky are we? What about some retro motoring with this Jaguar C-Type Evocation? Now, Jaguar originally built the C-Type to conquer Le Mans, and only 52 cars were made. This one, however, was made in the 1990s, and it gives a fantastic sense of what the original car was all about. It's up for auction between £95,000 and £135,000. Now it's over to Tom with some Porsches. Tom, hello. I see you have found the 1985 Supersport Targa.
I have done. Shock horror, I'm hanging around here some Porsches. This is a 1985 car, and it's actually one of only 14 right-hand drive Supersport Targas delivered to the UK, and the only one, we believe, in white gold.
So what makes the difference between a Supersport Targa and a normal Targa?
I'm glad you asked this, because I have the normal one. Well done.
You have the normal one yourself in your collection?
I do, the normal one. So it's a narrow body car, the standard car. I have the base Carrera, but this has actually got, you know, the turbo wide arches, the big whale tail from standard. It's a much beefier, much more attractive looking car. Sadly, I couldn't stretch to it at the time, but very, very rare car. Really nice specification. Very nice.
It is lovely. What sort of sensations do you get when you drive yours on the road?
I adore it. Do you know what? I actually leave the top panel off. It's stored sort of underground away from, and I only drive it with the roof off. It's a very nice combination. It's not too blustery in there. You get loads of flat six noises. It's lovely, and you don't feel like a pillock in a Targa compared to the usual convertibles.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I feel like a bit of a pillock when the whole roof's off. But with the Targa, you feel a little bit more kind of cocooned.
Yes, yeah. It's not quite so brash.
No, yeah,
one is,
brash.
It's not quite so look at me.
The wind, I was going to say in my hair, but on my head.
No.
Yes.
No, not quite. Shall we move on to something that started it all?
A little bit earlier.
Shall we call this the mummy or the daddy of the 911s?
Call it whatever you want, but this was where the 911 really started. It's got a 4-pot engine which turned into the 912, and then the 911 got the beefier flat six. But 356s, they're a dream of mine. I want to add one to the garage at some point. And what's really, really good about these in this day and age, particularly around towns with 20-mile-an-hour zones, you can really enjoy getting through the gears and giving it some welly, but not doing 200 miles an hour in a 20 zone. Great.
Exactly. That's the wonderful thing I think is about these cars, is that they were the forerunner to the 911. And
yes.
The 911 we think of as, you know, high performance, great handling, where you can have just as much fun in this at lower speeds.
Absolutely.
And also you can pleasure two people who look at you.
It's absolutely stunning. I think the estimate on this is about 340 to 370, so a little bit above my pay grade. But it's right-hand drive. You know, you can count on one hand how many there are of these in the UK, I'm sure. So
this is so beautifully done, and it is my favourite colour, pale blue.
So good.
It's lovely, isn't it? I would love to drive this out. Love it. Can you lend me £300,000?
I couldn't even lend you 30 quid at the moment, Vicky, but yeah, nice try. That's lot number 153 anyway.
Yes. So let us move on a little bit.
Yes.
So we've got a Porsche 911E here. So this is sort of an era where things are just, they're getting a slightly bigger engines and slightly more sophisticated.
Absolutely. So this is a pretty early 911. You've obviously got a bigger engine in there, a lot more weight, a lot more power. It's the E specification, so a fairly standard car out of the factory. It's got no sunroof, and it was actually developed for some racing. It's got some racing pedigree in there as well, and the engine's actually been upgraded by a renowned engine specialist to S specification. So you've got a little bit more power in there, with no sunroof, nice and rigid, a little bit of racing pedigree in there. Unbelievable piece of kit.
Left-hand drive, which is...
It's a lefty?
Yeah, which is absolutely fine once you get used to driving on that side.
Absolutely, it's like second nature. I've got a couple of lefties and it makes no difference whatsoever. I'm just as bad in left-hand, right-hand drive cars.
I love your honesty.
There we go.
Right, we have plenty more 911s at the auction, but now we're going to hand over to Matthew and look at some Ferraris.
Thank you, Vicky. Now, I have a lovely pair of Ferraris. Now, this is a 1971 Ferrari Dino 246 GT. Lot number 186. This particular car was fully restored by Foskers under the watchful eye of Ian Barkhoy, which we'll come to in a minute. It's got Classiche papers. It was restored to an absolute concours standard, and it is beautiful. It's absolutely lovely in this beautiful, resplendent red. I can't really fault it. It's a lovely, lovely car. But if we head over this way and see where the lovely Vicky's joining us again, we have a very similar Dino.
I know, would you believe it? This is a 1973 Dino
Little bit
246 GT,
Yeah.
yes. And the GT, of course, weighs just over 1,000 kilograms. So when you've got that lightweight with that lovely mid-engine V6, it is no wonder that drivers love the Dino.
They do, and it's a lovely story how this all came about, but ultimately it was built because of mid-engine and going into racing and just changing the way that Ferrari had been doing things up until that point. Still money no object cars, of course. And this car has been owned by the same family, hasn't it? Since 1975?
Yes, yeah. And how much do you think they paid for it in 75?
Oh, go on, you tell me.
Just over £3,000. I know.
And now?
Well, today it's at auction. The estimate is between £245,000 to £275,000.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Yes, that's a remortgage of the house and we'll be fine. So that's two cars, that's lot
Lovely.
170. They are very similar, though one's perhaps a bit more ready to get in and drive, one's a bit more show and concourse quality. Both beautiful. But I do spot behind you, and another red car, there's a flat floor external bonnet lock car here. Now this is a 1961, I read a little earlier, in carmine red, lovely.
Yeah.
Now, only the first 500 cars have these external bonnet locks, and
Yeah.
I think this is 339 if I can remember.
So they got rid of that eventually because it wasn't the most aerodynamic.
Exactly, and they put them for inside locks so you could, and early you
Yeah.
could even see them with the old leather straps. And of course they had flat floors originally, which wasn't particularly comfortable, which then got dug out. But value-wise, people of course covet those early cars because there's less of them. And as we got on, we've got into Series 1 4.2s and into Series 2s. As we know, the E-Type evolved all the way through to the Series 3.
Yeah.
This is beautiful though, it's fully restored in the States. It is lovely, I think it's 220 to 260. Let me double check my notes for you. Yes, so it's 180 to 210, so a little bit cheaper than our Dinos.
Yeah.
But it depends where you want to be, they're lovely. I know. What's that behind us? AMG GT. GTS. So we've got a few modern sports cars here. Do you know what the difference between a GT and a GTS is?
More power?
A little bit more power, how much?
Ooh, a 50 brake.
50. You've done it, it's not too bad. So the original was 456 for the AMG GT, and the GTS is 503.
Okay.
It's quite a big jump, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yep. It's a carbon pack, performance pack, I think it is, or a premium pack. So it's got all the luxuries.
It just looks mean and fast,
It
doesn't it?
does.
Even just static.
I think that's a bit of Tom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of you.
Oh, I don't know. the school commute might be a bit difficult, mightn't it?
Might be a bit quick.
But that's a beautiful selection of cars,
Yeah.
and if you just look around, there's no shortage of anything.
Well, that is it from us for now. Please come and see us at Olympia. Come and see all of the cars. The doors are open now, Friday until 7 o'clock. Open again on Saturday and Sunday. The auction starts at 12 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday. And you do need to register in order to bid. You can do that when you're here with us, or you can do that online at historics.co.uk. And what else can we offer, Tom?
Various bits, but first I just want to say a huge thank you to all those joining in live. Leave us a comment below if you are here live on the stream with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've also got an Instagram account, which I'm sure you're very well aware of. However, every car you've seen today has been on the Instagram account for the event. So that's a really good opportunity. Make sure you're following to see that. Most excitingly though, you still paying attention?
I'm all ears.
5 p.m. today, we're going live with a podcast from here at Olympia. Fairly unscripted. We're going to have, I think, a bit of a tussle over some Porsches and some 911s.
A debate as to which we think is the best 911 ever.
Yes, so we've got that to look forward to. So make sure you tune in on that podcast, available on all your usual streaming platforms. That's about it.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Until next time.
Bye.